Welcome to another episode of the Nuts and Bolts and Top of the Cup podcast. And in today's, we're going to review the Cheltenham Town game on Monday night, 8 o'clock kickoff on Sky Sports Football. How are you doing, Mark?
Not bad, Harry. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm not too bad, thank you.
We got we got
Should we go
question.
over?
Yeah, we got
Oh,
question. Freddie says,
oh,
"Where do you think Notts will finish this season?" He's going for 14th. I'm going for 10th.
um, top 10. I can't decide where. Top 10, I think we'll finish.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not a lot to talk about the Man United under 21s game, though, is there? Really?
You know what? I was so disappointed, right? And I listened to Patterson's interview afterwards. And after the FA Cup against Brackley Town, and you're like, in that second half, was they really trying to go through?
No.
And then against Man United under 21s, changed team and everything else, it was like they was just playing the game out. They didn't
Yeah.
want to go through. I just felt sorry for the people who went.
Including myself.
Yeah.
That was not fun to go and see, yeah. I can tell you that much.
But it does sort of like beg a question: how much do the club want success in the cup competitions, whether it's a virtue, whether it's the FA Cup, getting to the third round? He just asked that question.
Yeah. I mean, I think our first goal was good against Brackley, but then apart from that, I don't really see where there's any great opportunities to go win that game, apart from we got a penalty that I don't think was a penalty, to be fair. It was a bit lucky from our side. But then, we also got lucky again, didn't we, when they scored an offside goal, which I don't really think was offside, to
No,
be
it weren't
honest.
offside.
So, I mean, losing to a team in the FA Cup's not really that great, is it, really? But a non-league team that's got promoted to the National League team this year, and they're sitting, I think, around 13th, something like that, and not on great form. And it's not really the best, is it?
Yeah, Freddie says we
Especially
didn't
when
even
you're,
try. We didn't even try on Tuesday night with him.
especially when you're on BBC Two, TNT, Discovery Plus, all those big TVs things, and we just crash out.
No, but it's sort of like you go out of that competition, so you're on a winning streak. And bear in mind, when we went to watch Notts against Barnsley, Patterson was under a bit of pressure.
Yeah, he was. Yeah,
And that performance there to the one against Man United under 21s was different. But then we've like been unbeaten ever since. But then complacency can set in where it's like, oh, we can't be bothered. We don't really want to win this game. We don't want to win this game. And then what sort of, if you want a winning mentality, don't you go out to win every game? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Cheltenham.
It's like, I know because Patterson said in his interview, didn't he, where he said Notts County and what was it, that the owners value the FA Cup. So if you do, why did we get knocked out in the first round?
Why don't we even try? But
yeah, why did we even try?
But on the other hand, Cheltenham Town, they've got the new manager bounce and it's continuing. And Steve Cottrell is such a good manager. I'm scared for tomorrow night. Do you know, like, when he took over Notts and when he took over, like, in the January, went into the dressing room and he says, you're all a piece of, like, and you know good. And basically.
Yeah.
And it's like, you could see why he gets like a reaction from when he goes into a dressing room.
It's a bit like Neil Warnock, like that type of manager.
Yeah, a bit more.
That says what he wants.
Yeah, I'm worried tomorrow night.
No, I am, because obviously, I mean, of course you can get a manager bounce if you get a new manager, but it depends how long that's going to go on for. Because you've seen that teams win one or two games or they go on a long winning streak, and so far for Cheltenham, that I think they only won. Is it 4 and drawed 1 since he's been in charge? something like that.
Yeah, but look who they beat. They beat Bradford in the FA Cup. They beat Walsall as well.
Yeah.
No easy fits. You've gone for a 1-1. 1-1 would be an amazing thing. Because on the downside, if we win tomorrow night, whether it's 1-2-0, 3-0, whatever the scoreline is, then we go up to third.
Yeah.
And is that peaking too soon? Because I feel like this squad is overachieving. This squad ain't better than we had last year. We've got a different manager who, in league games, demands more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We could be peaking way too soon.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't really. I don't. We can even go back to that Barnet game where we got lucky enough to get that 1-0 win over because they were all over us during that game. Even when we scored our goal, they still had like a couple of chances to even nick it or even get a winner. So, I mean, that's one game that I can go back to.
But then you could say Cheltenham had that same sort of luck against Walsall.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it depends what side's going to start tomorrow. I think it'd be most of the players what started at Brackley, won't it?
Yeah. Hashtag free drivers.
Maybe Palmer will be back in the squad.
Yeah, because I don't understand why he didn't play though. Because he weren't injured, was he? I don't think.
Yeah, he was injured. Yeah.
Was he injured? Oh.
Yeah, he was.
Must have missed that. What game did he get injured in? Was it training or something?
I think it training or something. He had a knock, so he was out for that game. He comes back in. It's going to be nerve wracking tomorrow night. I haven't been worried about a Notts game going into a Notts game in a long time. You know what I mean? And I can remember when Steve Cottrell took over, we was like 7th in the league, and then we're like, finish. I mean, Rochdale was miles clear. Then we finish above them. Rochdale finished down in 3rd, and we get promoted as champions. And I don't know to this day why Notts didn't do more to keep him as manager. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I think we would have gone up the following year as well. In my humble opinion.
And we also will be playing against a former Notts player, won't we? Josh Martin.
Yeah. I mean, I was you know what, I wanted him to stay. But
me too. Yeah.
I go back to Newport last year when we played Newport, can you remember?
Yeah.
He tried his hardest to score.
Oh, I know.
It was like he was on a single man mission to score. It was like his face, he's so desperate he wanted to score against us.
Did he hit the post or something? Like he came close to scoring or something like that. And we could see it in his face. We could see that he was trying to score against us, but luckily we got the clean sheet, didn't we? I think did Charlie Whittaker get the 2 goals? I believe.
Yeah. Look where Whittaker went.
Tranmere,
yeah. He got like thing. I felt sorry for Whittaker because he did.
Yeah,
try.
me too. Yeah.
But what is going to happen with Jarvis?
No, I don't know.
Because it feels like he's going to be frozen out now, even more.
Yeah, because I mean, I know a lot of people have been saying this, but the team that was starting on Tuesday could be potentially who we sell really in January.
Jack has got 18 months on his contract, hasn't he, in January? Because he extended it for a year, didn't they? So.
Yeah, because when was it Plymouth came into him for January, he gave him an extra year contract or something. Apparently he rejected the contract. So
yeah, I think if we get rid of him, it'll be in January. Probably, but then
I'm trying to think, was it? No, Bolton never came in for him at the end, did he? I don't think.
It was Portsmouth and Plymouth, weren't it? There was the top 2, really. I think I remember at the time.
Bradford was in the mix.
I think Bradford, the supporters want him more than anything else. Bradford is Jack is linked with Bradford in January, apparently. I think that's the thing. But then what do you do then? Because Dennis, I don't think he's the answer. Traore, I feel sorry for him because he hasn't been given enough
I could
time
trust
in
him
the
to hold a
squad.
baby. I don't. I
But
don't
then
really
what?
rate. I think it.
But then
I
what
think
do you
he's
do
only.
about the goalkeeping situation as well, Aaron? What do you do about that?
Well, me both goalkeepers are crap. No, no
That's not
offense.
very.
No
Yeah, but
offense.
that's not nice, though, is it? You know what I mean?
Well, it's not nice, but it is the truth. So maybe I think we need to sign another goalkeeper in January. Personally, I mean, I don't understand. I still don't understand to this day why we let Alex Blasco. I still don't understand because he was the best goalkeeper last year in League Two. No one can disagree with me. He was the best goalkeeper in League Two last year.
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
he still had mistakes in him.
he still, but
He still made mistakes. His kicking weren't like supersonic, like
no, no,
brilliant.
no.
Like you could
No,
see loads of games at him where he put it across the ground and passed it to their player, the opposition's player.
yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
but he did catch the ball. He did command his area better than like Roos does.
I think if I'm right, I think he had like how many clean sheets did he have? I think it was it 10 plus or something like that.
But sadly,
I don't know if it's that many,
that's what football's like. Good goalkeeper, somebody comes in and takes them. It's how you recruit after that, and we've had a bad. I'd say we've had a bad transfer window. I say the squad's it's a lot
weaker.
weaker. We've got shed loads of midfielders, but no real quality in there.
No, I mean I think in general we probably need say we definitely need another striker. If Jota goes or not, we just need another striker to. I wouldn't say compete for the position, but maybe someone that can go in there score goals to help us win games, and then probably I'll say two defenders because obviously Matty Pratt got injured, didn't he? He's on his way back, but also we got Rod McDonald's who is out for they said a couple of weeks, didn't he? I think
Yeah,
hamstring. And maybe a goalkeeper really, but I don't understand why we have shed those in the fielders for because you can't play them all.
but yeah, we got all the midfielders, but there's not a lot of quality in there, is there?
No,
And
I
we're very like weak in defence. Attack is sort of okay, but it does need strengthening in attack.
yeah. I mean, personally, I don't. I think we definitely missed Matt Palmer in that Barkley game because I think he could have changed it. And I
Yeah,
don't think Ollie Norburn. After seeing not Ollie Norburn as captain, I don't really think he should have it again personally. But
yeah. What was I going to say? So Cheltenham is a very, very, very like young fixture, isn't it? First time we played them in 2002.
yeah,
Let
I mean,
me
I can always remember that
too.
that game from last year when we won 5-3.
Evening, Daniel.
Evening.
Evening, gents. You okay?
Yeah, not bad. I bet you're a
Yeah.
lot happier now, aren't you?
Yeah, over the last 3 or 4 weeks we have been, mate. Yeah, definitely.
With like the return of Steve Cottrell. I love Steve Cottrell. His time at Notts was like amazing. It's short but amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a top bloke. Obviously, as you know, he's a Cheltenham legend. Anyway, he's the one who got us into the Football League as a Cheltenham boy, and he obviously went off and had his career at Notts Forest, Notts County, Portsmouth, Bristol City, Sunderland, Stoke. And we didn't. I don't think we would have got him back if we hadn't just been taken over by Mike Garlick and Cheltenham now got a bit of money being pumped into him. I don't think he would have come back because he was probably in danger of ruining his legacy, if you like. But with a bit of money behind him, I think he's now looking and going, well, he's coming in on a 3-year contract. He's bought in his own backroom staff on 3-year contracts, and I think he's definitely going to be backed in the transfer market, which is probably a big thing for him coming back.
I mean, it's like I was saying to Harry, I'm scared about playing you tomorrow. I'm absolutely scared. You know what I mean? It's like usually you think, well, we're it up, we're in a bit of good form, yeah, easy. And it was like, and I said this to Harry when Cottrell took over. I goes, Cheltenham will be in the playoffs this season, if not better.
I think we're strikers short. He's bought in since Cottrell's come in. He's bought Ben Stevenson, and Joshua Tompkinson in. And you know, sometimes when you sign a couple of players who have like been out of contract, and you're thinking, how the hell have you not got a club at the start, you know, in August? But the only thing I could think of is they've processed Alf out of a move. Because I know Ben Stevenson was being, I think there was a couple of like championship clubs, a couple of League One clubs who were looking at him. Same with Tompkinson, he got released by Norwich City. And the only thing I can think of is they processed Alf out and moved, and we've felt a bit lucky to get him in, because since they've come in, the results have picked up. We brought in Sam Sheeran on transfer deadline, the week leading up to transfer deadline day. Isaac Hutchinson from Bristol Rovers, who's scored 4 goals since he's come in. And this is all down to Mike Garlick takeover. You know, had Mike Garlick not taken over, Cheltenham's not affording Isaac Hutchinson, Sam Sheeran's wages. So yeah, we're in a better more of a positive place than what we was 4 or 5 weeks ago. That was for sure.
But you can see what I'm saying, can't you? Especially with Cottrell as a manager in League Two, he knows it. He knows how to get the players like sort of on the same page and that lot. So I can see you getting the playoffs at least this year.
I tell you what, when I come up to Notts towards the end of the season, if we're anywhere near the playoffs, I would buy you a pint for wishing us
I believe in what our Cottrell managers, you know, especially at that level. He loves that challenge. And when he came into Notts, we were 7th in League Two. We were 7th in League Two, and he told the players it was all rubbish, there was all thingy, there was a disgrace to the fans and everything else. And then we went on an amazing run.
Yeah, like I said, since he's come in, I'll give you a bit of a background. Before he came in, we'd conceded 24 league goals in 10 games. We got tumped 7-1 at Grimsby, albeit we was down to nine men at 2-1.
Yeah.
We lost 5-0 away at MK Dons, and we were shocking. 3-0 at home to Oldham, which was obviously when Michael Flynn got the sack. And then in comes Steve Cottrell. Since then, we've played 5 games. We've won 4, drew 1, and conceded 1 goal. It's just chalk and cheese. And as you know, Steve Cottrell knows how to make a side hard to beat. And we've not just got a plan A, a plan B. We've got a plan C as well. And I'll quickly go through it. When he came in, we played Fleetwood. We had a go, beat him 2-0. Played Newport, beat him 2-0. We played Walsall, top of the league. We kept the ball. All we kept doing was going back and sideways for the whole game, and then we ended up scoring a 92nd minute winner, because he knew that had we just kept giving Walsall the ball back, we would have been hurt. They would have hurt us with the likes of Canu and players like that. Against Bradford last Saturday in the FA Cup, I thought the run was coming to an end, and we score in the second minute, and when I say it's one of the best defensive back to the wall displays you'll see all season, it was one of them. Bradford had a lot of the ball. They probably should have scored 2 or 3 in the first half, but they didn't, and you make your own luck. But we defended for our lives, and we should never have been beating Bradford. We were second in League One. But yeah, it's just that Cottrell effect, and the moment
I mean, the thing about the Bradford one, we cheered because obviously we've got quite a few Bradford friends, and it's like they're very an entitled bunch of Bradford fans. They go and turn up and they're going to win, and if they don't win, it was the referee. There's 2 whistles. I think that's where that 2 whistle comes from. There's the Cheltenham game, don't it?
Yeah, well, it wasn't 2 whistles. What had happened is we had the free kick, and we ran up to take the free kick, and just as before we hit it, the ref blows, like, because the ref's not looking at Jordan Thomas, he's looking at the defenders. So he blows, just thinking that Thomas hasn't already started running up. So there was only 2 players who stopped, and the 2 players who stopped were nowhere near where Isaac Hutchinson ran to. So 9 other Bradford players, including obviously the goalkeeper, were all ready defending. So even Steve Cottrell says, I get it, it's annoying, but nobody from Cheltenham stopped. And like I said, 9 other Bradford players didn't stop. So, you can't say play to the whistle, because that's obviously what they was doing. But it was a weird one, but in my opinion, it didn't have an impact on the goal. It really didn't.
I mean, at the end of the day, them things go to and for you throughout the season. Tomorrow, I mean, I don't know if you seen Notts against Brackley last week.
I did, yeah.
We were shocking. If we played like that at your ground, you're going to beat us.
We're going to get
like
battered.
4-1,
7-0.
but then there's still, you look at it. You was a penalty away from going through, and going to Brackley, it's an hard place to go. It's not, I can remember a few years ago, and obviously you've seen the FA Cup draw. We've got Buxton at home, and all our fans are going, "Yes, brilliant! We got Buxton at home, National League North side." But 3 years ago, we turned up against Alvechurch at Wadham Road when we was in League One, and they beat us 2-1. Those are the games that us as fans are guilty of looking at and going, they're non-league. It's easy. You guys got relegated to the Football League and took you a couple of seasons to come back because you had to go to places like that, and it's hard to play there, isn't it?
Well, I think sometimes it's a player's mentality, isn't it, as well?
Yes.
You know what I mean? So it's like it's beneath them, and they can't be bothered. They just think, well, we can turn up, we're going to win. You know what I mean? And they're not in for that fight. And that's same in the National League. And you see it when players come down from like the Championship and League One down to League Two. It takes them the time to adjust because it's a lot more physical. It's like they're less protected by referees the further down you go.
Yeah, mentality, and one thing, the reason I'm glad we've got Buxton is, one, because of Steve Cottrell, because Steve Cottrell would not let those players go out and say, no, we're not letting those players go out and think that it's going to be an easy walk in the park. He'll be telling those players that, you may be better football players than these Buxton players, but if they outrun you and outwork you, you'll be finding yourself on the end of an upset, and maybe that's what happened for you guys at Brackley, where you got Alessandro Giatta, who absolutely brilliant player. I like, really like him. Jones and players like that. They're probably the players who would probably turn up at Brackley and go, "Wow, what we turned up." But you get famed out. You get famed out, but went. But also, I just seen a comment come on there saying you was absolutely shocking, but you was a minute away from winning 2-1.
Yeah, but Jatta did his crossbar challenge.
Crossbar challenge.
You know what I mean? From the penalty spot. So
I went on one of your other Notts County podcast on Friday, I think it was, and obviously there was a couple of people who commented, because I was obviously praising Jatta, and they said obviously you don't see the sitters he missed, but 19 goals last season, and maybe the reason he's not playing at a top League One club or maybe Championship is maybe because he does miss a lot of chances. Like I said, when we beat you at your place towards the end of last season, I think he hit the post from like 6 yards out, where he should have scored. But you can't sniff at a striker who puts 19 goals away.
You've just remembered me. You played in that green kit, didn't you?
Yeah, because
we was winning 1-0. We was winning 1-0.
Yeah, we was
half time.
Going into half time. Yeah,
and how did we throw that game away?
Sam Stubbs gave the ball away, and I think it was McGoldrick who ran through, and then obviously Ethan Archer scored that worldie right at the end.
Oh yeah, what that was a good goal. That one.
Yeah,
but I think going back to like last season, the side we've got now is weaker than last season's squad, but the mentality is a bit different in the league.
With it, I Yeah, like I said, I keep I'm just going to I'll keep talking, but I've got a spreadsheet. I keep an eye on all the sides, and I was looking at knots, and your form is actually really good, and I mean really really good. You take the Brackley resort out, you guys, you haven't been doing too bad, have you?
No.
In,
No.
considering. Sorry,
Considering the start to the season we had and people wanted the manager out,
Oh,
you
I
know what I mean?
know. I was definitely not one of those people.
well, like I said, look, I looked down the list, and I like I said, I keep a list of shots on target. Now, to be fair, you've only had 132 shots on goal so far,
Wow.
126. On target, you've had 58 and 44 against. You've kept 4 clean sheets, which is really good. Your disciplining record's really good. To be fair, you've not had no sending offs, and your goals scored is 23 and goals against 13. So I think you guys are being pretty harsh on yourself.
Yeah. But,
Tom,
but to saying that, but to say that, last season we only had one red card, and that was Jatta in the playoff semi-final.
the semi-final,
Yeah.
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 You know what I mean? But you can understand. There was I think it was a Salford game. Was it a Salford game where he could have got sent off in?
Yeah, he could
where
have,
he
yeah.
struck out at the referee because he was
Yeah,
getting.
because I think he was getting his shirt pulled. Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, and he like raised his hand and it hit the referee, didn't it? And I was like, the referee was really patient with it. But you can see why he gets frustrated with like the amount
Yeah.
of players pulling his shirt, and in front of the referee as well, where they're just like not interested in it.
No.
Yeah. I again, I'm looking at your stats, like even goal scorers. Is it Tom Lorpender?
Tomo Pender, yeah.
Tom Iapenda, yeah.
Four assists for you guys, and then obviously got Matt Dennis who scored 5, Jatta's on 5,
And
Tyrese Hall's
Tyrese Hall's on 5.
is it 5 now? Sorry, I got
Yeah.
4 down here. But yeah, I like I said, I think you guys are being a bit harsh on yourself. I think you're doing all right. You're ticking along, and I
Yeah.
can probably see you guys getting in that top 7 again this season, because everybody's talking about MK Dons because of the players they bought in. Everybody's talking about at the moment Swindon, but can I see Swindon in the South destruct button? I hope so, because they're obviously fairly local to us. But I fancy you guys to be in that top 3. I really do.
I mean, the thing the thing was, sorry, Ara.
At least you don't have to come against George Abbott anymore. I mean, that wonder goal from last year. We won 5-3.
Well, funny you say that, because I was talking about it Friday, and because he rattled the bar before that, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did.
And I said to my partner, I said he will never hit a strike as well as that. And then he goes and sticks one in the top bins about 20 minutes later. Yeah. But we have some good games. Like you talk about the games on Sky, and a lot of people are going, well, I reckon Sky must have just looked in the list and went, oh, it's 5-3 at Christmas. We'll stick that one on. But
Yeah.
I think guarantee is probably not going to be 5-3 with Steve Cotter. It's going to be, I think it'd be quite a tight game, I think.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be pretty, like, from my understanding with Cottrell, right, he wanted to stay at Knots, but he weren't offered enough money to stay and all this sort of stuff. Sometimes it's like they want to like prove a point, don't they?
Well, he went to Pompey, didn't he? He was Portsmouth, so you can't really begrudge him that. But the job he done at your place was outstanding, because I was at the game at Meadow Lane.
Didn't we beat you 4-0 that season? We got 5-0.
Yeah, because there's a funny story behind it. Obviously, we went out there. Liu's absolutely ripped us a new one, and we was in a relegation battle. And because, like I say, I think it was your last home game of the season, and we was in. We basically secured safety because our goal difference was really good. And I remember after the game, Steve Cottrell turned around and went, I had to take Lee Hughes off. He said because we was battering Cheltenham, and he goes, I started to worry that we was going to really hammer their goal difference, and he was going to be back in the relegation battle. And into the game, he was coming up to our fans, like putting his hand up and apologising. Like I said, he's a Cheltenham through and through. He's a Cheltenham fan. But it was really funny. Yeah, he said because I had to take Lee Hughes off after he scored an hat-trick. He said because he could have probably gone and scored another 3.
I can remember that game well because it was Marshall's first game. That was. Harry, my lad's first game. Yeah. First what I ever took him to that game.
Yeah, you did hammer us. I think we took quite a few up. I think it was about 700 we bought up because it was Steve Cottrell.
Yeah.
700. But we've had some good games up in Notts. I don't know if you can remember back in 2000
the 2002 when you beat us 4-1.
I think it was the game we had to win to.
This one early in the season, the February one.
No, I think it was right towards the end. I think it is the 2000. We had to win to stay up. I'm sure we did, or for a chance to stay up. And I'm pretty sure we bought a few thousand up to you. We bought a hell of a lot up to Notts, and I'm sure it was we had to win to stay up for a chance to stay up. And I thought we lost.
We 2002 and 3.
Right. You're right.
We both won them games in that figure. We won 4-1 in 2002 at home, away, and then we won 1-0 away. I think you talk about 2000. Is it 2005?
2005.
You beat us 3-2 at home earlier in the season, and you beat us 2-0 away at the end of the season.
Yeah, the one in 2002 was for us to go up. We was looking to go up automatically, and we lost, and I think Plymouth won. And yeah, so you're right. We took quite a few up on there, but the 2005 one was another promotion season. We beat Grimsby in the playoff final 2005-06 season. Because I can remember we beat Mansfield 5-0 away on the last day, and a local boy I played football with at school played for Cheltenham at the time, and he scored his first ever goal at Mansfield. But yeah, we've had some good games against Notts. It's always a club I respect, and I'm not just saying it because I'm on your podcast. I've always respected, a club I think should be pushing towards the top end of League One, flirting with the Championship, in my opinion. You've got the ground there, you've got the fan base, and again, I always respect the fact that you guys have got just literally a stone throw over the road, Nottingham Forest, and when we come up last season, you had 10,000 there, and I respect that. I always say the same to Tranmere Rovers. Again across the water, they got Liverpool and Everton, and again 6,500. And I always say to my partner, because we go to every home and away game, and I say this is one club I respect, especially the fans. I say because it'd be easy for them to sit in front of the telly and go, "I'm a Liverpool Everton." Do you know what I mean? So hats off to you guys. For what you got to. You've got to compete with. Us at Cheltenham, Gloucestershire's a rugby county. Gloucester Rugby get like 16,500 every week, and we're getting like 4,000. So, I'm just hoping now that with the takeover, we might grow a little bit more, and someone likened us to Mansfield in terms of. And I'm sorry to swear on your podcast. In terms of when they was in the National League, they was getting like 3,500, but they're averaging 6,500, 7,000 now. Because obviously the Radfords have put the money in there, and so someone likened us to them, and I was going to mention it on you, and I just thought, oh yeah, sure, arch rival. So be careful.
But if you remember back to 2002, 2003, Notts was like 3,500. 4,000.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you since going out into the National League, coming back, our attendance have gone up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In that time.
Yeah, but you find that, don't you? The success of getting back. You look at Lincoln again. Lincoln were in non-league for a few years, and they should be what everybody look at. They when they got back, they got to the FA Cup quarterfinals, and invested in their training ground, and again that their attendances have been at times up near like 8,000. And it's because of you ride that success, and if you build on that success, and like I said, you guys missed out in the playoffs last season after coming up. You started okay this season. You're thereabouts, and the fact you build on that success. The fans come, and then you get that new generation of fans. We're a small club. There's no getting away from it. Cheltenham are a small club, but when we got promoted, we've been in the Football League 27 of the last 26 of the last 27 years. Obviously, we got relegated in 2015, and we come straight back.
Yeah.
But in terms of like attendances wise, when we got promoted, in the COVID, we won the league in COVID season. Just before that, our average home attendance was about 2,700. Now we're averaging about 4,000 home fans. So it's that success and just getting people and keeping them. But you guys should be in League Two. And probably one thing I do respect you guys, you're not like Bradford and you don't shout about it saying, "Oh, we should be."
Yeah, we it's figured it's
No.
it's painful last season, the season before, really painful.
Oh, I know.
The other thing I was going to say, it don't matter whether, say, you Cheltenham, whether it's Bromley, Harrogate, of how much crowds you get. You have a budget, like every club does, and it's how they spend that budget. Now, like with MK Dons, we bring them in, and you look at them. They're paying extortionate wages. Are they getting the right type of player? Are they for the right reasons, or they're just there for the money? Now, if you only can pay a striker $2,000 a week, and he'll run his heart out for you, he's trying. Or you only can pay a defender £1,000, a midfielder £1,000 a week, because your budget only allows that, and they're trying their heart out, and you're near the top of the league. Who are the better players?
Well, no, exactly. And like I said, you look, when we got promoted in '99 into the Football League, in 2002 we got promoted into League One. That's when Cottrell left and went to Stoke. Then in 2006 we got I think we had a season, went back down. 2006 got promoted again. We spent 3 years in League One. We was beating the likes of Leeds United in League One, and that always sticks in my mind. We even played Nottingham Forest in League One at the time. That's when Forest dropped down. And then obviously get relegated again. Then we lost at Wembley in 2012 to Crewe. We lost the season after that. We lost in the playoff semi-final. We got relegated to the Football League, done what not many clubs have done. We absolutely romped the National League and come straight back. Then obviously we won. We lost in the playoffs in the first COVID season. That was when we set a record. We was 2-0 up after the first leg against Northampton, and then got tumped 3-0 on the second leg at Wadham Road. But that obviously done us a favour, because the season after we went on to win that League Two. We had Man City in the FA Cup. We was 8 minutes away from knocking Guardiola's Man City out, and they scored 3 goals in the last 8 minutes, which absolutely crushed us. And then obviously we spent 3 years in League One again, beating the likes of Sunderland, Ipswich. But we're back in League Two now. We consolidated last season. We had a horrendous start this season, but that was because of the takeover. I think the club were waiting for the takeover to go through so they could spend a bit of money and bring a bit more quality in. But the problem was Sheffield. The problem with Sheffield Wednesday up the road from you guys is Sheffield Wednesday were in a bad place, so the EFL were putting all their resource into that to sort that out. So obviously Mike Garlick's takeover was approved, I think, a week before the transfer window, and luckily for us, we bought three or four players in who have actually transformed us. But what I'm trying to say is, in that 27 years, you're right. We don't spend a lot of money, but what we do is we build squads based on players who want to play for the club and work hard. And you talk about MK Dons, who have got like Sir Patterson, Mendes Lang, and players like that, quality players, Will Collar. But are they the right players for League Two to get you out of it? Yes, people will say, MK Dons are in the top 7 at the moment, but with the players they got, they should be romping the league.
But that comes down to player mentality and how they want to play, whether it's for the money. You see, paying the top dollar for a player or weekly wages don't always buy you success. Derby, I can remember Derby trying it years ago. Being the spent, I think it was like 12, 15, 20 million trying to get to the Premier League. It never worked out. So it's a gamble.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, what do you think? What do you think the score will be tomorrow night?
I think it's going to be a tough game. Every game now I'm going into, I'm going. This would be the end of our run. This would be the end of our run. You know, so we've won 4 and drew one of our last 5. The game we drew was actually a 95th minute equaliser for Gillingham, so it could have been 5 wins out of 5, no goals conceded. It was just crazy considering, like I said to you guys, we conceded 24 in the 10 games prior to that. But I just fancy ourselves against anybody at Walden Road at the moment. It seems like it's a bit of a fortress there. Cots will have a game plan. I think if we keep Jetta quiet and Lepora, I think if we can keep those two quiet, I fancy us doing at home, of course, doing a smash and grab and winning 1-0.
You see, I go the opposite way. I think it's going to be. I think there's going to be a lot of goals.
Cotter will be crying if there's a lot of goals, even if we win.
I just think. I think not so. Like, we're a bit more defensive wise this season. We'll block balls and everything else. We got, and I just think it's going to be the one we score, you score, like that sort of. You know, them sort of games, like a good old fashioned 4-3. That's what I'm going for. I'm not going to say Canty are winning, you know what I mean? But I just say it's going to be like one of them.
I think I think Sky would be happy if it was 4-3, obviously for the fans wise. But I don't know. I do my own podcast, which is called Talk of the County. And basically, we cover Gloucester City, Forest Green Rovers, and Cheltenham Town. And I've done the pod this morning, so obviously I've got the stats up for our head-to-head. And ironically, our head-to-head with Notts isn't.
I bet it's all tied.
It isn't that bad. I'll just open it back up now. Just
well, we've only played each other 16 times, haven't we?
Yes, I think it's 16 times. Hang on 2 seconds. Let me go back down to
because we won 8.
14 I've got 14 times. Cheltenham won 5, not 6, and there's been 3 draws.
Notts won 8, 3 draws, and then you've lost 5.
Is there cup games in that as well?
No cup games. That's all league.
And I'm going to have to go back to my AI score then, because they've got it wrong here. I've got head-to-head 14 times with not 6 and Cheltenham 5. I'll have to go and see change my source of information, I think. But I think it's always been close. You know, you hammered us, like I said, 5-0 a few years ago and 5-3 at Walden Road at Christmas. But that game
that was a good game. That was. It could have, yeah.
I can't see it being a high scoring game. I just with how he's gone over the last 5 games. Unless Notts go 1-0 up. If Notts go 1-0 up, then I think we'll probably have to open up a bit.
Yeah.
If we go 1-0 up, it's not finishing 4-3.
But you've got this thing. Can't you on an unbeaten run in the league? You're on an unbeaten run in the league and cup. So it's going to be somebody's going to be give. So Harry, what do you think the score is going to be?
Well, I mean, if it was at home, I think I would have been more confident. But our away form hasn't been that great, has it really? But I don't think it's going to be high scoring. I think it'll be tight. Maybe 2-1 Notts. I think.
And what a bit of controversy. So Cottrell will be like air drying the press after the game.
You'll have a. So obviously, you know, I can remember Cots the first time round, but yeah, at the moment it's all been positive. Like I said, you know, we haven't conceded goals. We've conceded 1 in 5. We've won 4 of the last 5, and it's all been positive. But I do think it's going to be a very hard game tomorrow. And like I said, you're always looking at that. That run's got to come to an end at some point. You're not going to win every game unless we do what Doncaster done last season and went on that well, not last season, season before, went on that almighty run. I think it was like 19 games unbeaten, didn't they? Getting in the playoff. And you've already earmarked us for that. But I still think we're a striker short of being.
Yeah, but January's only around the corner, so you striker short, and January's around the corner. And I just think Cottrell's got that in him to do that. You know what I mean? He hadn't left it too late in the season to get him in. You know what I mean? You got him in earlier on in the season. He's working his magic already. And he'll have a master plan. And he'll be telling the players where he wants them in that league at the end of the season. He might not be telling the supporters.
Of course it would. We're only 9. Ironically, now we're only 9 points off the playoffs, and there's still 30 odd games to go. I'd be happy to, because we got a lot of players out of contract in the summer, and I'd just be happy for us to get in that top half. No worries of going down. Hey, if we end up troubling the playoffs, I'll be over the moon. But there's a lot of players out of summer, and like I said, we've got this takeover now, so there'll be a lot of money being spent at Cheltenham in next season. So I'd hope we'd go again. Then I know we're looking at a striker. There's been Kamar Roos has been mentioned, Warsaw, but Cottrell keeps going about, like I said, there's a couple of people that are looking at where goes and gets in, on big money, who then goes and gets injured again, and we lose them for 3 months. January's coming up. There is a local striker. I say local. He's from Merthyr Tydfil. I don't want to say his name just in case Not's going out thing, but I know we're looking at.
Not to let you go for the data's right.
Ricardo Reis. I know it's a player we're looking at. He's actually playing in the National League South at the moment for Merthyr Town. He's scored 104 goals in 147 games. He's 23, 24. But, if you're scoring that many goals, you're going to get Football League clubs looking at him. I know Cheltenham won't be the only one. But he ain't going to be in for tomorrow. And I would imagine Cots are probably looking at that one to be for next season if that happens.
I hear South Shields have got a really good striker, Kenwyn Scott. He was at Notts last year and the year before in the National League as well.
They're doing well, since.
Yeah, they are. They are doing well. Got some money going into them as well.
Ironically, they've got Merthyr on Tuesday night, so Ricardo, he's scoring against. Not being disrespectful, scoring against average National League safe sides. That'll be his test. He's scoring 3s and 4s. He scored 4 last Tuesday, scored 2 again yesterday. But it'd be a good test against Safe Shields. If he's scoring 2 or 3 against Safe Shields, and then I think a lot more clubs rather than just Cheltenham would be looking at him, that's for sure.
Yep. You got any questions, Zara?
Not off the top of my head, no. Not if I could find something, yeah.
You can find stuff. So I think you've just got to keep Jatta quiet, maybe Mutari Saw, Apenda, Jody, Palmer.
If Jody don't complain at the grass.
One thing at Wallen Road, the pitch is pristine. It is unbelievable. So any footballing sides can play football at Wallen Road. They get the ball down and play. I'd say probably the players for you to look at for us would be Jordan Thomas, which I'm gobsmacked we didn't lose him in the summer. Well, Barnsley made a bid, but didn't want to meet his release clause, and Hearts showed interest in him but didn't actually make a bid. So we managed to keep it. Ethan Archer, who scored the worldie against you at your place, we've sold him. We've actually sold him for £500,000, but the deal was to keep him on loan till January, so he's still here. And obviously, like I said, Ben Stevenson in midfield, he's just unreal. But our defence now they're all fit, and we've added 1 or 2 in there. Ironically, for a club that's conceded 24 goals in the first 10 games, we've got one of the best defences in the league now. And I know it's easy to say that, but I genuinely mean that, and that shows you. Like I said, we've conceded 1 in the last 5 games.
I mean, it's definitely going to be an interesting one. to see.
Yeah.
I'm sure, like Patterson's in the same sort of like managerial mindset of like a Cottrell in certain ways,
Yeah.
the way he talks and how he wants his teams to go out. So I wonder where the screaming is going to be coming from after the game. You know what I mean?
Patterson would have played under Cots. Not for him, but he was at Stoke City when Cots went to Stoke in 2002. So he was I think he was in the academy then, and I'm pretty sure Cottrell had him at Bristol City in 2014-15 season as a
Yeah.
player. But I was shocked that you guys went for Patterson because I thought he was dread. We shouldn't have got relegated. They were 3-0 down on the last day at Fleetwood. We was like 1-1 with Stevenage. Our keeper broke his
Yeah.
leg. They had a
Oh.
dubious penalty. And we was just trying to get that winner, and then they hit us on the counter attack and scored in the 92nd minute, which relegated us. We had to win. But you speak to a lot of Burton fans. Burton fans were glad to see him go, so I was shocked to see him rock up. How was he doing? How do you guys think he's doing?
You know what? Right. I was after the not the Tranmere game. Was it Tranmere game? Not the Tranmere game. Where we was on that bad run at the beginning of the season, it was like, oh my God, I felt sorry for Maynard.
No.
You know what I mean? I actually said I felt sorry for Maynard. Right. But I think we're not in a situation where it's sort of data led and it's like they have minimum impact with like signings and stuff like that. And they don't have much say on that sort of stuff, and it's just an head coach role. I think you're going to get them like sort of always going to get them unknown, them where they've been at another club, ain't done very well, and they're a bit unemployable, or no one wants to touch them. You know what I mean? So the rock up at Notts County, the owners show them off, new manager, and it's like, yeah, who's he? And then all the opposition fans are saying, oh, he was rubbish at this club, rubbish at that club. But he's doing well at the moment.
Yeah, I think.
Go on, sorry.
I think going into the first couple of games where really going on a good one. I think practically all of us wanted him out, really. But he's been picking it up recently. Got a streak on our way. I think we need to improve on our away performances because for some reason we've been playing better at home so far this season, unlike last year. So if we could pick up a couple of good away performances on the road, get some points there, then I think he's done all right so far.
I think what you've got to remember as well, haven't you, is that every manager's had a sack somewhere. So every manager's had a bad spell. Like, you look at Michael Duff, who was he again never Cheltenham legend. He came through our youth rank before going on to Burnley. I say youth rank because he played for the first team, and then went on to Burnley. Had a great career at Burnley, and he came back as manager, won the league with us. He went on to Barnsley, lost in the playoff final to Sheffield Wednesday. He's admitted this himself, he shouldn't have left Barnsley and went to Swansea, because obviously Swansea play a brand of football which is not Michael Duff's.
Yeah.
He then goes to Huddersfield, unfairly gets sacked there. They was like 6th when he got sacked, ended up finishing the season mid-table. And then he's gone in at Wickham, and like he's doing a great job. But when he was going to these clubs going, oh, he got sacked at Swansea. But then looking at the fact that Cheltenham were one of the lowest budgets in League Two at the time, he won the league with. So, every manager's had a bad stint and had a good stint. So Patterson might come in, and you've had Williams, you've had Maynard, and he might be the man who actually takes Notts into League One.
But Williams was he went to Swansea, another one of their managers who went to Swansea. Yeah. He did well at Notts.
I didn't do well.
Now he rocks up at Peterborough.
Yeah,
and look how they've changed. After
a stint, don't forget, after a stint at Bristol Airport, he went to work in Bristol Airport for a bit. So I respect him for that, though, because he knew he was going to get another job in football, but he was like, I've got to work. I'll go and work at Bristol Airport until that right job comes up.
It's like a lot of like Maynard was a different manager. Patterson is like you believe him when he's talking. Maynard was more of like, he didn't really. He didn't really connect with you know what I mean?
Yeah, we had that in. He didn't really connect with the fans. Decent bloke, talk black's black and white's white, But he was like, you'd win a game and he'd walk 3 yards onto the pitch, clap the fans, and walk down the tunnel. Where Cottrell's now, and I said, I know it's easy because he's a Cheltenham boy. He's doing the fist pumps and all that, and it just brings a fan, doesn't it?
Yeah, but that's what you want, isn't it? You want to feel. I mean, in this day and age, you look at the Premier League and how different it is, where the players are so distant from the fans and everything else.
Yeah.
In the lower leagues, you get a chance. Where our stand sit, and like you've got the hospitality behind it. You've got people walking up. You've got like Nigel Clough. You've got other managers walking up, and you seeing ex-players and everything. You know what I mean? And you don't get that close to like players and managers.
No.
The further up the league, so it's special being like down where we are.
Well, I took my daughter because obviously I've done 78 of the 92. I've done a lot more than that, but clubs have been relegated in the Football League. So I took her up to we had to tick Old Trafford off for her, and so I took her out to watch Man United. And we were driving back down. She went, much prefer Cheltenham, Dad. And I went, and it made me feel good. And I went, oh, what? Why? She went, it just feels real when you're watching Cheltenham. As you just said, you're closer to the players and what have you.
Yeah.
And you go and watch these Premier League. They're so detached from reality that people like us traveling up and down the country every week to watch them, and they can't give you 1 minute or half a minute just to have a quick selfie. Where you walk into the players on a Saturday at Wadham Road, that the players they come up to the railings and they're having selfies. They're spending 5 minutes signing autographs for the young kids, and that's what it's all about.
Yep, because the lower leagues, there's money involved in it, and there's more money than there was before. But it into the heights of the Premier League, is it? You know what I mean?
No. But I prefer it. I'm 40 years of age, and I can remember when the Premier League started, and the Premier League was decent back in the 90s because the Premier League was like what the Football League's like now. But now Premier League is,
So then we're talking about TV. Do you like these half 12 kickoffs?
I don't want to moan because the money that Sky put into our clubs to have that privilege, but our game against Barnet has just been moved now in February to 12:30. So getting to London on a Saturday morning, we had Crawley 12:30. Again, people were leaving home at 6:00.
But you're old enough to remember, aren't you, the ITV Digital deal?
When all that fell through,
yeah, the on-digital ITV Digital deal all fell through. It nearly bankrupted some clubs because they spent the money that they was getting from the TV companies, and it never come, did it? So do you think, even though Sky is a company who they are and everything else, do you think the Football League are too reliant on the Sky for revenue?
Well, 100%. Obviously, we know that for a fact, don't we? That I think it's something like in League Two now. They're getting about 900 to £1 million, 900,000 to £1 million. Excuse me, I've got a real dry throat. 900,000 to £1 million they're getting. If that goes bang, so will a lot of clubs.
Yeah,
because they could turn around and say, "Well, our strategy has changed" or whatever. But I just think they are too reliant on Sky. These one broadcaster deals it's too reliant.
When there was COVID, you had a lot of you had a lot of Premier League clubs who were coming out and saying, actually, we could still make a profit with no fans being at the grounds. Where league clubs were furlonging people because they couldn't afford to operate. Cheltenham got a very old stand at Wadham Road, which they've been looking for years to develop, and it was we had to dip into the money we were putting by to redevelop the stand to keep the club afloat in COVID.
Yeah, COVID weren't a very good time for football.
No,
one bit. I didn't like COVID. I didn't like when the football restarted and when there was no one in the ground, so the atmosphere was horrible.
Yeah, no, exactly that. We was robbed of one of our best seasons. Like I said, we won the league. We had Man City at home in the FA Cup. We went 1-0 up, and we was 8 minutes away from knocking Man City out with the likes of Phil Foden, Gabriel Jesus, and Mendy and players like that playing. And I still say to this day, had Wadden Road had 7,000 packed in there, I think we see that game through. But the players are dropping back with 5. Well, it was 8 minutes to go, with no fans behind you cheering you, and then Foden scored, Gabriel Jesus, and is it Neves? Who was the one who went to Barcelona from Man City?
But is it Bernardo Silva? Was it?
No, it was the striker.
Tevez?
Oh,
no, it wasn't Tevez. What was it?
No, was it Kun Aguero? Was that it?
No,
Are you playing Among Us? No.
Aguero?
I said that.
Oh.
Because I'm sure he went to Barcelona. I could be wrong. Yeah, because if I know the leagues, it's like
Ferran
the fans are
Torres.
Torres.
Oh, that's it. Yeah,
Torres.
that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, last
It's
8 minutes.
It's like what the players say. The crowd's really like a 12th man for them, really, at home or and away, really. Like when you're losing, like tightly, the fans make the noise and they score a goal to possibly take a point back at all three. So the fans really make a difference. Yeah.
Yeah, but we never know. The fact that we took Man City to 8 minutes, we nearly beaten them. It was, I can remember the football fans tweeting Cheltenham saying, "Oh, we was back in the Robins. We thought he was going to do it," and like. I never believed it. I was sat on the sofa watching it, and I was like, they're going to score. And then when they scored, it was just like bang, 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 3 goals in 8 minutes. But we nearly.
Yeah, but imagine like now, it's like when we played Man City in 2011.
2011, yeah.
And we drew 1-1 with her, but then you go back for a replay. That extra revenue you get, it's not there no more.
Yeah,
that's what I mean.
Yeah, another thing what really annoys me, you look at Tamworth last season, credible drawers would have been worth almost £1 million for him to go down there. And then, because likes of Man United and all that want to fly out and play 2 pre-season end of season friendlies in Malaysia to make 10 million. Never mind getting those much important, replays, which I could talk all day about that, but my throat's
Tamworth got done last season, didn't they? Right, I think that's about it.
Brilliant. Yeah. Cheers, guys. Thanks for having me on.
You're welcome.
Apologise to the end.
Hopefully. I think the best thing we could agree on is a draw, but I can't see it being a draw tomorrow.
No.
You guys travelling down?
Not tomorrow, no. I got work in the morning, so.
Blame you. But yeah, I think it'd be a tight game, and let's see how it goes.
Good luck as well. Hopefully we'll win. Hopefully you're going to say you're going to win, and we'll see. We'll find out by 10 o'clock tomorrow night.
If you asked me 5 weeks ago, I'd be saying 3-4-0 win Notts County, but I just think because our last 5 results at Wadden Road under the lights, it's always a good atmosphere under the lights as well. I could just see us doing like we did with Warsaw, a smash and grab at home, 1-0, and then one of the best defensive performances you'll see.
And Sky want you to win as well. Whenever we're on TV, the commentators, never whether it's Sky commentators, ITV commentators, or BBC, they always want the opposite side to win.
Yeah.
Well, let's hope that happens.